You are listening to the Primetime Podcast with your hosts, Bryant Chisel and Jake Jorgensen. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. This is the Week 10 Rewind. Coming at you with myself and Jake, per usual. And this week we have our friendly neighborhood George Martinez on the show. George, first time all year. How does it feel?
It's a privilege. It's great to be on here to talk to all the gents. Thank you very much, Brian.
A privilege indeed. See, not everybody treats
welcome
it.
Back.
Welcome back. Yes, it's been a long time. So, I guess we can get right into the matchups, huh? Oh, your boy is game of the week, so I guess we're going to go over that disappointment last. Let's hit Jake and Lane first, because that was the biggest blowout. Jake, your team went off, dude. Dak Prescott's... George, how does that feel, seeing Dak Prescott put up 52 points right after, 3 weeks after you cut him?
Dude, that has actually been very painful. That dude's been going off since I'm not going to even say anything. That just seems to be the way my team's been going, and Jake, good for you. Good for you, Jake.
Yeah, you must have dropped him during the Week 7 bye, I believe, and then after that, he just went off 36, 31, now 52. So, can't complain. Quarterback, I had a lot of quarterback problems this season, starting out with drafting Aaron Rodgers and then Jordan Love, and have not stuck with either of those guys. So, but Dak might be saving the season here.
I like it.
Brian.
Yeah.
You could have had the chance of having them yourself, you know. You didn't accept the trade.
That's true. That trade was awful. I should have just picked him up. Don't you remember? It was like a third-round pick for Dak or something like that.
Oof.
Something like that, yeah.
Was that like Week 6, right before you went to drop him, or?
It might have been Week 5, but yeah, it was around that time.
That's a man-thigh move, if I'm being honest. right before you drop somebody, you might as well look for picks. Yeah, I respect it.
I'm pretty sure I convinced George to drop him because I roasted Dak and said he was terrible.
I didn't think that. This is a side note because you said this is the biggest blowout. I didn't think this was the biggest blowout. I know my team went off, but Lane's team had a really good week as well. So I guess most of the games were pretty close this week. But yeah, obviously you talk about Dak. Keenan Allen, he got injured, but he got 44.5 points. George Kittle had the 66-yard touchdown that contributed to the near 26-point performance. And I mean, this is 3 weeks in a row my team's popped off, and it's time to start popping off. So I'm very pleased.
It is a good time to pop off. That is true. And not only did Lane's team perform well, his bench was very, very solid. If he throws in, a little bit of Tyler Boyd in there, it's the whole Jamar Chase thing. And that's right. This was the matchup where you texted Lane before, like half an hour before the game or something like that.
Yeah.
And you put it in the league group chat and said, "Don't forget to take Nico Collins out because he's not playing." And then he didn't see it and started Nico Collins.
Very unfortunate.
Classic.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks. I don't know if he probably wouldn't have started Brandon Cooks. It would have been Tyler Boyd. But
Brandon would. I think when I was talking to Brandon, he would have recommended Najee, which was the totally legit start this week. But yeah, Tyler Boyd, I guess, had a better game. So. Huge win from you, Jake. That Cleveland defense is looking pretty scary going forward.
We talked about it, how this was supposed to be a bad matchup going up against the Ravens. And by the way, the game started out, I think Cleveland defense dropped to like 5.5 like in the first quarter, and then just must have done pretty well the rest of the game. But I guess now going forward, obviously we have the trade deadline coming up, and I think the next step for my team is to secure, I guess, really a running back or a receiver, because that flex spot, looking at Jahan Dawson, 0 points, that's not going to cut it going into the playoffs.
You can talk to me, Jake. I got boys.
I've got my eyes on a couple players around the league. Gonna have to figure that out by Saturday. So.
Heck yeah. Deadline's coming up. Deadline's coming up for Greg's wedding. There's gonna be some wheeling and dealing going on behind the scenes at Greg's wedding. I know George is going to be in on that.
Oh, 100%.
All I can say is by the end of the year, Justin Jefferson's going to be on my roster.
Hey, AJ Brown's going to be on mine, so we'll make it
Oh.
happen.
Oh.
Okay.
Shout out Cade. I think that's Cade, right?
That's
Yeah, that's
Cade, yeah.
Dang. All right. Well, that's a good matchup and a good preview. That's going to be a good time. Um, Manti and Cade is up next. So Jake, do we mention this now? We're too strong. George, just so you
Yeah.
know, by being on the show this week, you're basically guaranteed to win this next week.
I need it. I need it. So hopefully.
It was a couple weeks ago when I first mentioned in the chat. I only thought about like looking up that stat, doing some research around it because Preston, I think it was Preston, maybe it was no, I think it was Brandon at the 10 seed
It
beat
was.
somebody that might have been like a top 2 or 3 seed. And I'm like, wait a minute, this feels like this has happened a couple times before with people on the pod. We're now up to 8-1. Like if you appear on the pod and then you in your next game you're 8-1 so far, and we had it in the last 2 weeks. Preston and Brandon on back to back, and they're bottom 3 teams, and they went 4-0.
Dare I
So
say the two worst
it's
teams in the
crazy.
league, and they
They
both
both beat me.
Yeah, yeah. Manti beat you, George.
Yeah, they both did. That was painful, dude.
Oh, you mean back in the day?
No,
In
who
a
did I
different
versus
week.
past week? I
Oh,
don't
you
even know
you
anymore.
you
I
you
just
lost to
collect
Greg.
W's.
You lost to Greg. I just collect W's.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. He doesn't know who he plays. He just collects W's. You know, it's hard to argue when he just won. So, hey, you're gonna go 2 straight. That means George.
Hopefully, I need Jefferson back, man.
Yeah,
Especially against Cade.
he's back this week,
Ooh.
allegedly.
You could have by the way, George, I don't know if you saw this, the standings, the points for, but you could legitimately jump from 9 up to the 6th spot, just based on the fact that you have the most points for, if anybody, uh, 6 or 10 in the league.
That's playoffs,
So
baby.
it's very possible.
Heck yeah.
Wishing. Brian's heard me complain about it all all year.
Yes, I have. Um, so as for this matchup, Manti, 130, pretty solid week. CD Lamb continues to carry the shit out of him. CD Lamb has been an absolute monster. Him and Dak together. Oh man, it's
That would be quite
crazy.
the stack. That would be quite the stack.
That would be quite the stack. You're gonna have to talk to Preston, but if I know my Manti, he's CD's not coming cheap.
Yeah.
So. The Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon stack continues to be incredibly mid. And that's kind of it for Manti's team. I mean, it's basically CeeDee Lamb. Joe Burrow's finally not stinking, right? He's been pretty solid the past few weeks, so you can rely on him to not put up sub 10. And
I'll give Preston credit
yeah.
for his Josh Dobbs last couple weeks. Again, he's looking like a very solid quarterback for fantasy and in real life, I guess. Wild.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Josh Dobbs is, 3 weeks in a row, 20 plus. It's looking kind of nice.
Will he make the starting lineup at any time soon? He's got Burrow.
Probably
I wouldn't
not.
think so, but
No, I wouldn't think so either. Honestly, Manti's probably gonna trade. There could be a legit market for Josh Dobbs if somebody needs a quarterback.
yeah, I think Greg was the guy that I was looking at. That was like I was gonna maybe get a quarterback to Greg. We can talk about that later about what happened, how he solved that issue. But I don't know if anybody else in the top like 4 or 5 really needs quarterback right now. I'd have to look again, but maybe Cade with Josh Allen. It's been a struggle.
Josh Allen's first time being sub 20 besides week 1.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Tough scenes, man. Tough scenes for Josh Allen owners. You better trade for the better Josh, Cade. Josh Dobbs.
Ooh.
Yeah, Case team just kind of stunk. I mean, I guess really ETN let him down in a big way, which is, sad for ETN owners, but you've been spoiled because he's been a monster. Josh Allen obviously disappointed. They lost to Denver. The Bills don't look good. Fired their OC, so maybe things will change. Maybe they won't. Kyle Pitts continues to be average at best. And everybody else was solid. I mean, you can't complain about Metcalf, Kirk, Ramondre, or Robinson in this one. It's just you take your L, you move on. AJ Brown and Jalen Waddle were on bye, so AJ Brown's been a monster. He'll be back next week and he'll be ready to go. Also, all three of his quarterbacks stink, turns out. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah. Oh, Deshaun Watson's out for the year. Forgot about that.
He's on the Yep. So.
Yeah, so maybe Cade will drop him. Maybe you'll stash him in the IR spot. Hey, Cade, you keeping Deshaun Watson? Because I know you like the Cleveland guys.
I was about to say there's been a couple teams now that have just kept somebody on the IR. I think Greg did he do it with somebody? Was it Kirk at one
I
point for
believe
a
it
couple
was.
Weeks?
Yes.
And then I did it with Rodgers for a little bit. Everybody
Yep.
did that, but I feel like Deshaun Watson shouldn't be involved in that. You should just drop him immediately.
Deshaun Watson's got to be on the waiver wire. Nobody wants that curse on your roster, man.
Yeah.
Nah, he stinks. So I guess that's kind of all for this matchup. Big dub from Anti. Tough loss from Cade, but I mean you're still in first place. You're living your best life. Wow, the next closest is really. I guess it's this one. It's pretty tight. Lemons and Nick B. 5-point victory for Nick B. That was a tough one for Lemons to take an L2. Sam Howell was a massive start. 32 points from Sam Howell. That's exactly what Nick B needed on a week that Jalen Hurts is on bye. Oh, baby. Travis Kelce was on bye, too. Puka Nacua on bye. Dang. Nick's team pulled through. Lockett had that big touchdown. Lockett had no points in the first half. In the second half, he just blew up. McCaffrey doing his thing. Montgomery doing his thing. Back from injury. Jake, you worried at all about Montgomery? Because he had a good week for fantasy, but he was outworked by Gibbs by quite a bit.
Not worried. I mean, I guess I kind of assumed he was going to get everything in. He was the first week back from injury, so I kind of thought there'd be something like this. So I can't say I'm too concerned right now, but yeah, I mean, both running backs. I was surprised how well Jahmyr Gibbs did the first week back. The first week Montgomery's back. So I guess I was just surprised in general how they both popped off this week. But yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about Montgomery. I think he's going to get a little bit more, but they're still going to I think before, I don't know what the percentage was, but let's say it was 70-30 Montgomery. It might be it'd be closer to 50-50, maybe 55-45, something like that. But either way, might be the backfield this year with those two guys.
Respect.
Maybe even Pittsburgh with freaking Jaylen Warren down there too, doing well with Najee.
Yeah, they have I think they have Cleveland this week though.
Oh yeah, that won't happen again, man.
Yep. So, hey, Lemons, man. Honestly, so losing by 5 stinks, but putting up 155 when Mahomes, Mostert, and Tyreek Hill are on bye, I mean, hey, not bad, honestly.
Nah, Lemons, do better, bro. Come on, 5 points.
It's all Saquon's fault. 7 points. Chris Godwin, 9 points. Played against Mike Evans. That's tough.
I saw something that it said Brian Robinson is the only running back this year in fantasy to be the first place running back of the week twice this season. So week 2 and then this week.
Dang.
That's pretty wild.
That is actually kind of nuts. Huh. Brian better than Bijan confirmed.
Yeah, that's really all you needed to hear there.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, good win from Nick. He's 6-4. Record still not as good as his points for. Nick's team is nasty. I'm afraid. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
George, we're going to your matchup against Greg. The now reclaimed Stroud boys. I'm not gonna lie, dude. That's funny, and I'm glad that out of everybody in this league, I traded CJ Stroud to someone who knows how to meme his team name. Oh, geez, what is that picture? Is that the? Oh God. Oh, geez. All right, nothing further. No further questions. Um, yeah, he started Will Levis this week and had 2 points, so I think that's why he came to me for C.J. Stroud.
Let's hear it, George. What do we got?
Dude, let's get the feedback here first. Brian,
Yeah.
walk me through that trade. What was your thinking process in doing it? Because I thought it was a mid trade. Mid.
Yeah,
You could have got more.
George hit me up and was telling me that I got screwed basically, and I'm like, what? Um, so my take is I can't keep C.J. Stroud because he wasn't drafted, and I'm kind of competing, kind of not competing. Justin Fields is back this week, and between Fields and Stroud, Fields, would I rather start Stroud this week instead of Fields? Yeah, I would. But Fields was red hot before he got hurt, so I'm kind of hoping that he kind of bounces back. And if I lose out, I don't really care. And if I win games, then I guess maybe I'll make the playoffs. I guess it's Jordan Addison was drafted in the 10th round, so I'm probably going to keep him. And I think Jordan Addison is legit good, for a rookie wide receiver. He has what, barely any games below double digits. Um, yeah, every single one of his games this year has been in double digits, even, you know, in the beginning of the year when it was his first few starts in the NFL and Justin Jefferson was in those games. So I'm not super worried about Jefferson being back. His production didn't change a ton. So we'll see. But I don't know. I was cool with it. I got another quarterback, and Addison's probably my best flex now. I'm not sure.
That's fair.
Side note, Brian, since I don't like to bring in the dynasty league too much, but drafted JSN. Everybody knew JSN was the guy going into this season. How are we feeling JSN versus Jordan Addison? Because you're thinking about maybe potentially, like, you could potentially keep him Addison in this league if you wanted to. Like, it's possible.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much locking it in, trading for Addison, and in the 10th round is going to be pretty valuable in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah.
But like Addison versus JSN going for like in a dynasty perspective, it's tough because you've been seeing signs of life from JSN, and he's been good for fantasy even though he's been like under 70% of snaps pretty much all year. I think he has one game over 70%. So he's been putting up points lately, and I think Lockett's gone after this year. I want to say it might be a contract for him. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But Addison's legit. So would I rather have Addison or JSN in Dynasty? Oof, that's tough. You lean Addison maybe just because you know he's good, but they both have ones in front of him, right? DK Metcalf for JSN and Justin Jefferson for Addison, and those guys aren't going to go anywhere. So I guess you kind of take what you know you have in Addison, but I think they're both going to be good. If somebody offered me Addison straight up for JSN and Dynasty, I don't know if I'd take it. It'd be tough.
I could see that. I going back to this Will Levis conversation, I messed up. I think I was absolutely saying start Will Levis, and he did terrible. So I kind of lost this one for Greg if he's listening to the pod. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure I said to start.
Actually, I didn't lose this for Greg. I forgot about the bench.
Yeah, no, nobody lost this for Greg except for Greg. George, do you want to get into who Greg benched this week?
Dude, let's just take a second here to evaluate Greg's GM skills. Because who in the grapevine would bench, first of all, Chase? I think you have to start him no matter what. I don't care what the matchup is. Dude, just always open. Quote himself. Always open.
That's true. He did say that.
The Minnesota tight end, bro, you're not going to freaking bench that dude either. It's just not happening. Not right now. Not Hawkinson. Not right now.
Not never.
You can call him Hawkins if you want, George.
I know Greg right now is busy with getting the marriage finalized here this upcoming week, but unacceptable here, Greg. Bad management skills. Bad.
You know what? I agree with George wholeheartedly here. Benching Hawkinson. I don't care that they were talking. So Greg said that he thought Hawkinson was injured before the game, right? And they were talking about how he might not get very many touches or run too many routes in the game because he was dealing with whatever injury he's got going on. But if your studs are active, man, if Hawkinson's active, he's the tight end 1 on the year. You got to throw him in there. And to be fair to Greg, David Njoku had 12 points, pretty solid. But Hawkinson was the tight end 1 on the week. He's the tight end 1 on the year. Hawkinson wins you this matchup, man.
Agreed.
Chase does too, to be fair. Tough. That Deontay Johnson 2.7 is tough. Packers shut him down. Valentine, baby.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was. I can't remember if it was Brandon's team. I think it was Brandon's team last year. That I don't want to say it was super similar to Greg's, but I feel like I remember it felt like every single week Brandon had 2 bench receivers that outplayed starters. And Greg's kind of in a similar spot where it feels like every single week it's really tough. It's a tough call on who to start, what receivers to start. But yeah, Jamar Chase, it's one of those guys that I think I mentioned this before that you just have to start him because if you bench him and he goes off like he did this week, it just looks really bad. So
yeah, that's fair.
That's my management.
On the bright side for Greg, his wide receiver room I think got a lot more clear this week, just because he basically lost a couple options. In my opinion, Amari Cooper is dead for the rest of the year because Deshaun Watson's out for the year. Not that Deshaun Watson has been a beast, but I think I think the Browns announced that they were starting that rookie dude that looked super garbage. I don't remember what his name was.
DTR.
Yeah, Thompson Robinson or whatever.
It was like Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Yeah, that guy stinks. Amari Cooper is dead. Calvin Ridley should never be started in your lineup again, Greg, unless you have no other options. That guy stinks. It's Jordan Addison, it's Deontay Johnson, it's Michael Pittman. In my opinion, it goes Deontay and Pittman in your lineup and Addison in the flex, assuming you're not starting a running back, and it's pretty easy to me.
Addison.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about the other bench wide receiver on Greg's team, Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah.
So I guess Addison rides the pine. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Addison's on my team now.
Nice.
Well, there you go. Even more clear then. It's Chase, it's Pittman, and it's Deontay in your lineup. Probably all 3 of them every single week. You have Gibbs and Walker, and you can maybe work in Swift instead of one of those receivers if you want to. But I mean, it's those 6 for me. Yeah.
I was about to say, easy way to do it is just trade away one of the options, then you can't guess wrong.
Yeah, just trade me Chase, Greg. I'll do it. If you're not going to start him, I will.
Yeah, I'll start him.
I'll start Hawkinson too. Yeah, you seem like you have Njoku down pat. I'll take Hawkinson for, I don't know, give you Gabe Davis. Jeez.
I was close to. I mean, Greg hit me up about Addison because I think he was looking to trade Addison for a quarterback, mostly after this Levis performance.
Tough.
And I do like Addison, but I think with the way my team is constructed right now, I think I'm looking for. If I'm going to trade for a receiver, he's going to be like an elite receiver right now. Like I'm going to pay up for one. So We'll see how that goes. But I told Greg I'm interested in your other bench receiver and Jamar Chase. So
good luck.
Got a kick out of that one. But hey, maybe he doesn't value Jamar Chase is that high, George.
George knows firsthand.
Good luck.
George has sent him some pretty solid offers at some point.
Solid offers, Jake.
Hey George, what's a George solid offer?
He ran it by me. It was palatable.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a long time ago though.
One? It was so it was Tua, Cup, and I think it was like my second round pick for Chase in his third. And he needed a quarterback, so I was willing to trade a quarterback. I forgot what quarterback it was at the time. And dude just wouldn't bite. He wants like your first, your second, possibly your third, and your best receiver for Chase, dude. Good luck.
Don't forget your firstborn child, George. Would you be willing to trade them?
Damn, dude. Not for Chase. No, not at the
moment. only for AJ Brown.
Hey, yeah, 2010 Aaron Rodgers. Now we're talking.
What about a football card of Aaron Rodgers from 2010?
Is it signed?
No.
Nope, not doing it.
What if I said it was signed?
Now we're talking. Now we're somewhere there. We're somewhere there.
Get Letzi on the phone. We gotta bring George back. Oh, jeez. All right. The only thing that George, I'm gonna say this for you to Greg.
Suck these nuts.
There you go. Huge dub from you, George. I'm not gonna lie. 104, not a ton of points. We didn't talk about your team at all, and I think you might want to keep it that way because it was pretty mid.
Dude, it was terrible. Right now.
Hey, Adam Thielen's dead.
Dad, you called it. Hey,
Uh-huh.
we were talking. You called it, but I don't think Devontae Adams is doing that good either.
He had a good week. No, he had like 20 points. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We should have made that trade still, but all right.
Don't get me wrong. He had a bad week before that, but he had like 20 points this week. I think it wasn't enough for me to win. We'll talk about that in a second, but
they're struggling, man. The Panthers suck. So
yeah.
What are you gonna do? And he's old, so
very old.
Get what you can and keep pushing forward by a couple points.
Hey, win's a win, right?
Yes, sir. Collecting W's. Hear that, Jake? I'm coming for you.
Oh,
collecting W's.
Whoa, pause on that though.
He's coming for you, Jake. All right, we're gonna get into my matchup against Brandon, the other guest on the show last week that won. This was painful for me, man. So we have a pretty solid matchup. You know, Stroud does his thing. Olave actually had a good game. Derrick Henry stunk, dude. Oh man, Tennessee got blown up by Tampa. It was a terrible time. Rachaad White, 20 points, nice. He had a big long touchdown. Cade Otton stunk. Hollywood Brown stunk. Kicker, fine. New Orleans defense, oh my god, dude. Josh Dobbs ran all over New Orleans, gutted me. Lamar Jackson stunk. Jonathan Mingo had more points than I thought, but still stunk. JSN, respectable. You know, it's kind of what you hope for when you start JSN. Joe Mixon, kind of stunk. He had a touchdown and only had 12 points. Gus Edwards, 10 points. Jake Ferguson, pretty good game. You know, and then kicker defense, screw Baltimore, that touchdown. So basically, the moral of the story is we go into Sunday night, and I think I'm up 2 points on Brandon, and I have Devontae. He has Garrett Wilson, and I think on the second to last Jets drive, Garrett Wilson caught 2 passes. It was pretty neck and neck for the most part. Garrett Wilson caught a couple passes real late in the game that sealed it for Brandon, and that was all she wrote in an absolute snooze fest of a Sunday night football game.
Yeah, it was the Jets being down. It was, first of all, it was a terrible game, and it was just the Jets being down. So I think towards the end of the game, you kind of knew
yep.
With the Raiders being up, they're probably not going to get the ball to Devontae anymore, and the Jets are going to have to try to keep passing to stay in it.
I was hoping the Jets would score a touchdown so that the Raiders would have to throw it at the end, and I think Zach Wilson threw a pick or something. Yeah, no. So this was a tough one for me to swallow. You know, seeing Derrick Henry put up 3 points, and then picking up Cade Otton to start him over Luke Musgrave, who would have won it for me. You know, I had Tank Dell on my bench that I really was close to throwing in the flex instead of Hollywood, but I figured, hey, Kyler's back. Maybe Hollywood will do well. No. So this was a tough one for me to swallow. I'm not going to lie. This was the game that kind of sealed my fate, I think. Yeah, I'm still obviously competing because everybody fighting for that 6th spot kind of stinks, but sorry, George.
That was good.
But I don't know if I would have accepted that trade from Greg 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Because Stroud was helping me win. But, you know, I'm not full on tanking. We're gonna keep trying to win, but I'm willing to let some guys go if it means keepers or picks. You know, so
yeah.
You know how it is. Brandon was pretty pumped about this dub. You know, like he said, if he loses, he's happy, but if he wins, he likes ruining people's days. So this was a tough one for me, especially with Pacheco on bye. And Achan's back this week, isn't he?
Yeah, I was interested in seeing Brandon post. Which, by the way, if you're in 10th place in week 11, I'm not surprised when somebody's starting to sell people for picks. Mm-hmm. But he also knows that he's one game back. But So I was kind of interested to see if he was going to try to trade, like do the opposite and trade for someone to help him out. But I think
Nah.
he's just again, this team's not ready this year.
He started Jonathan Mingo, dude.
Yeah. Not a Clyde Edwards-Helaire start, but it's getting
No.
there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a temporary start, because Devonta Smith, and all that. I would have started Judy, but I mean they both suck, so whatever. So that's it for the matchups. It was pretty good week overall. Tough one for me, but let's check out the standings. Get a taste of what we've got going on over here. Let's see. We have Cade and Jake tied for top of the table, and you're getting pretty close on those points for 3-game win streak. Jake, how's it feel?
I mean, it's a 3-game win streak, and yeah, my points for like a long time being in the top. I wasn't in the top like 6 for a long time, but I mean, it was a while where my points for like it looked like it was 200 less, and just to have this huge performance to barely eclipse the 1300 makes a big difference looking up there. And also, I think I believe it was last week, Cade barely got a dub against. Who was he playing last? Was it last week?
You talking like this rewind or week 9? Oh yeah, he beat Lane by 10. He had 108.
That's what it was. So yeah, it was Justin Herbert had 1 point. So if Justin Herbert would have had 10 points, I'd be in first place right now.
Justin Herbert hurt you, Jake.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I just want Keenan Allen to stay healthy. I mean, he's got an injury right now, but I think he's going to be back. But also, I don't want him to rush back at all.
Right. That situation's tough because, all the other wide receivers are gone, which, usually is a pretty good thing. But I think it hurts the Chargers, which hurts Keenan Allen. He'll be fine, but he's got to stay healthy. Third and fourth and fifth, we have Nick B, Lemons, and Greg all tied at 6 and 4. Nick B, once again, topping the league on points for by a significant margin and does not have the record to show it. But he did get back on track with a win, so good for him. We got a couple 2-game losing streaks in the other 2 spots there. Lane's on a 3-game losing streak at 4 and 6. Big for Mantha and I, because apparently Mantha and I are competing for the playoff spot now with Lane. That's, what a turnaround story from Mantha. 3-game win streak. If you would have told me that literally at any points throughout the season, even last week, I would have laughed in your face. Jeez.
Yeah.
How does it feel, George, to be behind Preston?
2 of those.
I'm telling you. I lost to him. Whatever week he was. Yeah, week 8, I lost.
It's on
His
you.
team went off 168.
Yeah, that's a good week.
George, he beat me as well, like week 2. It was like 104 to 102.
That was his first victory. That was really funny.
I thought it was going to be his only one of the whole season.
Me too. I thought it was too. I told Preston that every time he won, he'd be on the show, but I'm not going to lie. I kind of got sick of him winning. I didn't want to invite him on again.
and we play him this week, I believe. So I said, you're not allowed to be on this week.
That's what I said. Do you play Manti this week? Oh, I should have had him on.
I said he's not allowed to be on the pod.
That's a bummer. Yeah. For those that didn't hear Jake and I talking beforehand, which is everybody else, I did invite Nick B on the show originally, and he couldn't make it because he had to fill in, and I was very thankful that he said he could not make it because I play Nick B this week, and oh boy, am I not about to lose another game.
Yeah.
So we got George on the show, having a great time, and he plays Cade this week. So hey, that means they're going to beat Cade, and first place will be Jake's. Oh, this is all this is all Jake's master plan.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, but listen, I mean, the fun part about this year, not only is the 6th seed, the last playoff seed, obtainable by everyone right now, like easily.
Oh yeah, big time.
Also, it's going to be a bloodbath for the bye weeks in the playoffs too.
Don't forget the first pick.
This is a crazy close matchup, and the first pick.
First pick of the draft is totally up for grabs right now.
So you're 1 game away from the playoffs, and you're trying to be interested in the first pick. It's going to be interesting.
That's what makes the deadline so interesting this year, because I'm sitting here thinking, shit, I'm tied for sixth place right now, right? I'm down what 60, 70 points on Lane, right? And Lane's on a 3-game losing streak, right? Lane's team isn't looking very good right now. I'm right there for the playoffs, but also I'm 4-6 and my team stinks.
Yeah.
Like if I played George this week, George would kick my ass. What do you do? Do you sell? Do you hold? I think the strategy has to always be go for the playoffs, right? If you can make the playoffs, you should always be trying to fight for it because, hey, you got to get that sweet, sweet prize money. You got to get that championship, baby. Once you get in the playoffs, it's a shit shot, right? Brandon won the playoffs, or he won it last year. He was the 6th seed, so you got to fight for it. But at the same time, if you can get a ton of picks, set yourself up for next year.
I was almost there. I was almost ready to commit to the pick life.
I know you were. I almost got some
turned
players
it
out
around.
of you. What's up, George?
Your team is not it this year, man.
It stinks, dude. Hey, I'm not gonna admit that Yahoo was right because I have four wins, so AI was definitely wrong. But yeah, my team's in rough shape, man.
Dude, same here. Wasn't I supposed to go number 1, like 11-3, and I'm out here losing up a storm because Cup and Jefferson are taking turns on who's going to be on the IR, and
that is tough. I think you were high. I want to say Cade was number 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I know that the AI loved Cade. They were sucking him off big time.
I know I was like in the bottom 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, Yahoo projected me to go winless, so eat that AI. Chat GPT can let me find my button.
Suck these nuts.
Boom.
Well, you got to remember, I think Cade had a couple first and like second round picks.
Yeah,
man, he was smart with the trading last year.
Oh,
exactly. This is what happens when you tank.
George.
You know what I mean? That's like I could be Cade next year. 7-3, top of the league, having a great time, or I could try to make the playoffs this year and maybe win some money, huh?
I wish I remembered off the top of my head what players Cade sent for those picks because that would be helpful right now. But it is a
one
good
was
point.
for me. It was AJ and my first for Cup or not Cup for Jefferson and the Arizona quarterback Murray. Is it
Kyler? Yeah.
So I got those two, but I gave away AJ in my first.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah.
And
can't win them all. I mean, Jefferson's a monster, though. If Jefferson would have been healthy all year, he would have been outscoring A.J. Brown, in my opinion. And A.J. Brown was on a historic run.
I agree.
Yeah, I was just trying to say that, like, hey guys, I mean, look at Cade. He stocked up for the draft and he's in first place right now. I mean, maybe that's the route.
Exactly. Or maybe I just sell all of my picks and make the playoffs and win the league.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
And then I might as well just sell all my players because you're going to win anyway.
Dude, I could give Manthai my first and second round pick for A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Think about that, Jake. How scared would you be going up against that combo? It's a 3-game win streak.
Oh, my God. Might be, that's tough.
What's better than that? Oh, shit. I'm sorry, Manthai. All right, let's get into so best players of the week. Jake, you're on this list a few times. Dak Prescott, 52 points. Brian Robinson at running back for Mike, 32.7. Wide receiver Keenan Allen for Jake, 44.5. Pretty darn good. Beat out CeeDee Lamb, I guess. Tight end on the bench, TJ Hawkinson for Greg, 33.4.
I think I started funny. The highest started tight end was Kittle probably then. I'll take credit for that as
well. This guy. Didn't Kittle only have like 11 points?
No.
He
had like
he had a big game. Oh, he's projected for like 11 this week, I think.
That's what I saw. 66-yard touchdown.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hey, I give that credit to Jake. Greg doesn't deserve it.
No, I like putting Greg on this list because it's more of a roast than it is praise because he was benched. If you bench somebody's top scorer, what does that say about you, man?
Fair.
Kicker, surprise, free agent, Jason Myers. I didn't write down how many points he had. I think it was 20, maybe 18. Defense, San Fran, Laners on Lane's team, 22 points. And kicker, Let me confirm. Jason Myers, 21. All right.
Interesting.
Transactions. Let's crank some of these out. We had a trade. It's always interesting. Boom. All right, let's head back a little bit. Wow, there's been a lot of activity on the waiver wire, gentlemen. Jeez. Let's see. Last week would have been like the 8th, so pretty much this entire page. I cut Devin Singletary, and then he had a monstrous week, so that feels bad. Because Pierce didn't play. Elijah Mitchell was cut. Sam Howell, so Sam Howell picked up. Jonas Smith picked up. Cade Otton picked up. Zay Jones finally got cut. Hey, Lane, you can pick up a Jaguar. Daniel Carlson, Geno Smith, don't care.
Unlimited.
Was picked up. Matt Gay, Josh Downs were cut. My trade with Greg, CJ Stroud for Jordan Addison straight up. Let's see. I cut a kicker. Singletary got picked up by Jake for $16 fab dollars, and the fact that it's on this page makes me think that there was no competition. Am I correct?
I just saw Greg bid 5.
Ooh,
nobody else bid.
You are correct. Greg bid 5. Not bad. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if Pierce is back this week, like, don't get me wrong, Singletary is like a fine emergency flex, in my opinion, when Pierce is there. But if Pierce is gone, Singletary is kind of a stud.
Yeah, I had some fab to spend and needed some security there at the running back position, so he should be able to provide that, hopefully.
That's fair. I picked up Washington's defense for $5. Nobody else bid. Like, in a similar boat to Jake, I had some fab to spend, and I wanted to make sure I got them because they play the Giants this week.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Let's see. Brandon picked up Noah Brown, cut Justice Hill. Maybe that's interesting to somebody. Cade picked up. Cade did cut Deshaun Watson. Good for him.
Nice.
Yeah, nobody cares about most of this. Antonio Gibson got picked up by Greg for Will Levis. Rip the Mayo man, dude. Antonio Gibson, back-to-back weeks of 12.5 and 16.5. Pretty solid, huh? And then we have Jets defense cut, Stafford cut. Manti is active on the waiver wire. Let's go. Matt Amendola picked up. So, hey, there you go. Only one bidding war this week. That was your Singletary pickup, Jake. So, with the transactions done, let's check out the matchups for this week. I've got Nick B. Let's see. Starting Fields this week. Nick's team is healthy now, so I'm going to pick Nick B to win this. DJ Moore, Mike Evans, pretty boom bust, but Evans has been really, really good this year. McCaffrey, Montgomery, Kelsey, Puka Nacua, better than Cooper Kupp. Rip George.
That's
just
like
nothing.
a decent team he has. Honestly, it's not the worst.
It's
stacked.
Pretty darn good. In my opinion, it's the best team in the league.
I think Cade's is, in my opinion.
That's fair. Definitely an argument there. I'm just a lot more afraid of going up against McCaffrey, Kelsey, Jalen Hurts.
That's a good point, though. But then think about it on Cade's side. He has AJ Brown, and what's the running back from Jacksonville?
Oh, Etienne. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's like kind of doing really good this year. So
yeah, he had a ton of touchdowns for a while. The thing about touchdowns, though, they're not that sticky. So we'll see what he does the rest of the season. But
all right, fair 50-50. Let's call it 50-50.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Definitely good. I would like him on my team. That's for sure. So my team, Devontae Adams had only 15 last week, not 20. Pain. Wish he had 20. Would have won. I think I'm gonna start Addison this week. I'm gonna give Hollywood another week. I threw Tank Dell in my flex, Jake. I don't know if that interests you at all. See my guy in the flex like that.
I've been waiting for it. Been waiting to see Tank Dell in the flex.
So now he's gonna have a bad week. So if you've Tank Dell in any of your other leagues, gentlemen, make sure you throw him on the bench.
Probably,
Rashad White's earned the right to be in my lineup every week. 4 weeks in a row, 15 plus. And yeah, I mean that kind of does it for me. I'm gonna keep starting Musgrave because he's been pretty solid lately. That'll do it. So I'm taking Nick B. Does anybody have a different opinion on this one?
No. Unfortunately,
yeah, no. Pain. Oh, that hurts. All right, we're gonna go to Brandon versus Greg. Wouldn't it be funny if Brandon beat Greg? That would put Greg at 6-4. You'd think a couple of those 4-6 teams would win, and then Greg's one game out of the playoffs. Wouldn't that be interesting? I see Hawkinson and Chase are in his lineup this week. Good for you, Greg. Gibbs, Walker, Amari Cooper. I would bench Amari Cooper personally for the rest of the season, and I would throw in Deontay Johnson. I'm not worried about his injury. I guess he is playing as Cleveland, so maybe something to worry about there. But I think I would still play Deontay over Cooper, personally. So Brandon has Lamar, who's been really frustrating in all honesty. He'll put up 40 points, and then he'll put up 9. Yeah, I mean,
this is Greg, and this is before Brandon sells his team in the next couple of days.
That's a good point. Well. Brandon's team is gone before this week. Well, I mean, honestly, who's buying who on Brandon's team, right? Because I don't know if anybody wants Devonta Smith. That guy kind of stinks.
Yeah, I mean,
he's 2 weeks in a row before the bye week. He had pretty solid weeks, but I mean, if you look at the season as a whole, I mean, I guess AJ Brown just ate up all that volume. Who knows if that'll continue, I guess. Maybe Jake Ferguson's interesting for a team that needs tight end. Isaiah Pacheco might be interesting. Joe Mixon, could be a trade target. Mixon's been pretty decent. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody's really trading for Garrett. Was Garrett Wilson one of the guys he said was off limits?
Yeah, it's Garrett Wilson and A-Chain.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I understand if you want to keep Garrett Wilson. If you're assuming Rodgers is back next year, Garrett Wilson. If Garrett Wilson had Rodgers throwing the football, he'd be, at least a wide receiver too.
Maybe more.
Yeah. I would think more, but being generous. I mean, and nobody wants Lamar, I don't think. Maybe.
Nah. People just don't need him. Like, he's not bad, but
do you think Greg could have gotten right now? If you were Brandon, would you have accepted Addison for Lamar straight up?
No.
Keep Addison in the 10th?
No.
Jake, what do you say?
Yeah. I think, just because I think Brandon's just literally going to blow it up, and you can make that his third keeper. I don't think he's going to keep Lamar, so.
Yeah. What was Lamar drafted or kept? He was drafted in the 3rd. Yeah, you can't keep Lamar in the 3rd with what he's done.
No.
Yeah. Something to think about there. Maybe I'll offer him Addison for Lamar. Nah, I don't want Lamar. He stinks. Might be interested in JSN. He could be interesting for a keeper. 9th round's kind of rich, though, for not really doing much. If he was like a 13th or 14th round pick, I'd be more in on that.
Side note, I think with CJ Stroud, if he keeps it up, Greg's team is looking a little bit. I think they're looking a little scarier than I thought they were before.
Yeah,
they're always solid, but
going up against CJ Stroud after he put up 50-something points that one week is a lot scarier than going up against the Mayo man.
And seeing Gibbs have a good week with Montgomery back, some of this stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, they've got Chicago this week, Green Bay next week. That's pretty good running back matchups. Very interesting. Kenneth Walker's been good. Yeah, I mean, Greg's team is solid if he starts all of his guys. If Greg starts Hawkinson and Chase last week, he has 135 points and nobody's even talking about it because he just blows George out of the water. That's funny. Oh, jeez.
He's smart. He kept me in the game. Appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
Yeah, baby. Oh, jeez. All right. Let's move on, huh? Oh, wait. I guess before we move on, I picked Greg in this matchup. Does anybody think Brandon's winning this?
No.
Yeah.
No, but I wish. Hey, you know what?
You never know, man.
Let's give it a Greg. Wedding week. Let him have it.
Oh, jeez. If we were going to let him have the win, we'd match up against you, George.
Ooh. Burn.
Oh, man. All right, Mantha and Jake going at it this week. Honestly, Jake, Manthey's team is scary with CD Lamb in it. That's the only scary part about it, but it's scary.
Yeah,
The only
I
nice thing
agree.
is you have Dak Prescott, so
I mean, I'm looking at I know Preston's team is eighth right now. 118 seems like that's a pretty good projection for a team that's eighth, like record wise in week 11 of the season.
yeah.
So it's a little intimidating, but and with Keenan Allen being hurt, maybe missing. I hope he doesn't miss time, but like we'll see what happens. I still I don't know. I don't want to lose twice in one season to Manti. I just don't want to do it.
I picked you.
I picked Jake too.
The only thing I will say is, have you been considering benching George Kittle?
Every week almost. I mean, my tight end room is looking really solid.
Trey McBride's pretty sexy. T. McBee.
I was very happy to pick up Trey McBride and Cole Kmet's like done decent enough.
Yeah, he's
Not
been
that I
hot.
really needed to start him, but like he's been solid.
Yeah, probably roll with Kittle until he proves that you shouldn't. You know what I mean? I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row of 25 plus, bye week sandwich between, but yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for me to not start Kittle right now, even though I do like Trey McBride as well.
Respect. George, do you have Manthey or Jake here?
Jake, his team's just the better, well-around team. So
yeah, I agree. How did it feel last week with Stephon Diggs only getting 6 points?
Yeah, Stephon Diggs had 6 and Dotson had 0.
He
team was 7 away from 200. So
didn't you? You still put up 200. Jesus.
Just about.
Oh
I mean,
my God.
this week, what I want to see is Javonte Williams having a third, a good week in a row.
NBA Jam rules.
He's been really good going. Yeah, C checks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's Keenan Allen. Stay healthy, Keenan Allen, and the rest. I've got Devin Singletary in the flex right now. I don't know if I'll change that. I think I'm going to keep him there, but I paid 16 fab for him. Got to start him at least 1 week.
I respect that. Yeah, I mean, if Pierce doesn't play, then he's a lock in there, in my opinion. And if he does, looking at your bench, he might still be in my lineup. The only person I'd even consider is Reed, probably.
Did you see who I just picked up 2 minutes ago while we were looking at the transactions?
That was it's Jameson Williams.
My God, Jameson Williams, baby! I didn't see that. Lemons dropped him a couple days ago, but we had to get him on the team.
He stinks at football, dude. He's not good.
To get him on the team.
Oh, I respect your dedication to that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done well, and I just saw a video of him the other day with a McFlurry on a hamburger from McDonald's. So I don't know what's going on with Jameson Williams right now, but
he's getting the Eddie Lacy treatment.
He's doing, he might be doing that Eddie Lacy treatment. He might be slowing down.
He's on the Eddie Lacy workout program, baby.
I mean, hey, he's still part of the Lions, who might be like one of the top offenses right now, which is kind of crazy to think about. So.
I like it.
I can't wait for him to pop off the rest of the season, start him in the playoffs, and then keep him. Oh my God!
He should do an endorsement deal with McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't know if I want that yet.
Oh jeez! All right, let's move on to Cade versus George. This will be a big one, huh? George will have the mojo of the rewind on his side, and Cade's team is nasty. Not gonna lie though, George,
I got me today, boys.
Your team is good, George. You know, Adam Thielen in the flex is a little scarier, especially against Dallas, just because of what he's been doing the past couple weeks.
You do him or Hopkins, so it's like.
It's not Hopkins. It's definitely not Hopkins for me, unless Jake feels differently. You could maybe consider Cook or Darrell Henderson.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, Dallas is a tough defense. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think, Jake? James Cook or Darrell Henderson? Which one would you start if you ignore Thielen?
It was funny. I was watching the Bills game, and I'm not a James Cook owner, but I felt for the James Cook owners after that fumble on the first drive, and when he didn't get, and then they subbed in like 3 other running backs before they got him back into the game, and then he got back into the game, and then he ran it well, but then literally fumbled and the ball bounced back up to his hands. I never saw that play, but that was pretty wild.
I did not see that play.
I don't think that's gonna happen again. So I think I'm gonna start James Cook over Henderson.
12 carries for 100 yards, but he did it against Denver's worst run defense in the league.
That is true.
So, yeah, for me, it's probably Cook or Thielen. You can flip a coin. Maybe it's Thielen just because he has the potential to drop a big game.
They're going to be down to Dallas.
They're going to be down a
to keep passing the ball.
That's a good point. The past couple weeks have been closer games than Carolina's probably used to. So maybe, yeah, that's a tough one for me. That the rest of the lineup's kind of locked in, isn't it? I mean, Kupp and Jefferson are locked. Jacobs and Hall are locked.
What about Tua? Tua or Goff? Who are you starting?
That's a legit question. Is Tyreek? Yeah, it was a bye week last week, right? So Tyreek's there.
I think
Goff plays the Bears. Who plays the Raiders?
I think there's a good chance that the Lions literally do not have to pass at all.
That could be said about the Dolphins too.
That is true. Oh, God.
With Achane back and Raheem Mostert.
No, they still like to dump it. At least they like to dump it off.
That's true. That's true. Receiving touchdowns.
Catch.
Yep. I think you might be right. Yeah. I lean Tua. That's tough too, though, because the Raiders. You think of the Raiders and you think bad defense, but according to Yahoo, they're 25th worst matchup. I mean, like they're a difficult matchup for a quarterback. So they must not give up a ton of fantasy points to the quarterback, which kind of enforces the idea that you can just run all over them. And Chicago, on the other hand, is the second easiest matchup you could get for a quarterback. And usually, no matter who the quarterback is, if you're going up against a cupcake defense like that, you can start them with confidence. And Goff's been pretty solid. Goff played against the Raiders a few weeks ago, and he only had 15 points. Just saying.
Dude, it's a toss-up. I don't know.
I mean, Kay's looking at this, seeing like he's playing George, not a playoff team right now. But I mean, 129 projected, and I don't know if George, if you've been paying attention to the standings most of the season, but have you been looking at the standings and seeing the points for and like thinking, you know what, I'm at the same points as somebody that's like 6-4 right now? Because that's the case with, I think, Greg's team. Yeah, with Greg's team, you're like 12 points less than him, and he's 6-4. So it could have been just a tough schedule this year. That's what I'm thinking.
Brian, you want to answer that for him?
I'm not gonna lie. What did he say?
How much complaining have I done?
Not so much.
About how high I should be.
Yeah. So the thing is, George has been complaining about it quite a bit, and rightfully so. I feel your pain, George, because I'm in my work league, right? And I'm the top scoring team in the league, and I am dead last with the same record as you, 3-7. I feel your pain.
Tough.
It is tough, So I understand your pain and your frustration having I have Justin Jefferson on that team too, so I'm hoping he bounces back and has a good rest of the year. I think Dobbs can support him. I think he's shown the past few weeks that he can at least support one wide receiver. So in a matchup like this, no Bijan, no Ramondre, but how much do you care about that when he has ETN, James Conner's back? I feel like it'd be foolish to not pick Cade, but Georgia's team is nice. I'm struggling here, Jake. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
you see Josh Allen, you see AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle's been great, ETN's been good. Connor, I think, was good before the injury.
You know what I'm thinking?
He's all right.
I'm looking at this AJ Brown versus the Chiefs, and I would think, first of all, it's a Monday night game. Eagles Chiefs sounds like a Super Bowl rematch. That sounds like a great game. Like it's gonna be a really good game. But at the same time, everybody knows it's gonna be a great game, so it might actually suck. AJ Brown might have an off week. So I think this is actually gonna be. I think this is gonna be all right for George. I mean, first game back for Justin Jefferson, but he's Justin Jefferson, so that 18 is very attainable at any point with him.
I have to ask you, Jake.
What's up?
What does an off week look like for AJ Brown?
Like 11. That's crazy.
Because
But
I thought last week was an off week and he had 20 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So. Yeah. So you're gonna go with George? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm picking George. I think I'm going to keep with the
stick with the rewind mojo.
I'd like to. I really think I've picked against Cade like every single time. I don't know why I've just done it every single time.
I'll go with George too. Screw it. I like it. Both these teams are good. I'll go with the rewind mojo. That's the tiebreaker for me. The fact that you're here tonight, George, putting in the work. This is the best you can. This is the best thing you can do for your fantasy team this year, per our science.
Yeah, since I'm playing the 1 seed, get me on that pod.
We have that Amazon Prime analysis going on where we just, what do they call that stupid stat thing that they do during the game?
Oh, I don't remember.
Advanced metrics. I don't remember. Yeah, we're hitting those big time, and the metrics say that the underlying metrics say that George is going to win this week because he was on the show.
Appreciate it, gents.
Anytime, buddy. Hey, if you win, you're welcome back on the show again next week. If you want to juice yourself again.
Yeah, we'll have to run it back.
I was about to say, I feel like it's too overpowered if we have anybody on in the playoffs. Like, it shouldn't even be allowed.
I should just have like Nick Hoffman on the entire time. He can help me do the previews for the playoffs.
I'd allow it. Yeah, I'd allow it.
I was talking to him about maybe getting him on the show for like the championship week or something, because he had been talking about maybe wanting to come back if somebody dropped, after he left the league. So he likes checking in on this league every time we hang out. I give him an update.
Nice.
Last matchup, Lemons and Lane. This feels like it's a little personal, Lemons and Lane. I don't know. Feel like you get a little chippy.
Yeah, he doesn't have a new profile picture and name yet.
That's true. Lemons is slacking on the picture and name, and honestly, Lane is slacking on the name too. So, for Lemons though, he does have Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert back, so you got to be a little afraid of that, right? What's your take on Chris Godwin? Would you be starting him this week? 2 weeks in a row, sub 10. He's got Cortland Sutton on the bench, who has been pretty darn good this year.
Yeah, he just had the catch of the year last week.
I missed that.
In my opinion. It was insane.
Dang. I'll have to go back and watch it.
I think it was 4th down, maybe like 4. I think it was like, it was in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
You just watch the play. I won't explain it, but it was like a toe tap.
I can't show it on the show.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll get demonetized from YouTube.
Yeah. That would be one easy way for Purdue to find out about Preston being in this league.
That's a good point. Purdue scouts Cortland Sutton.
They do. Yeah.
Lane seems stinks. He used to start Najee.
It was about Godwin, right?
Yes. Are you starting Godwin over Sutton?
Godwin in San Francisco also.
Yep. Sutton home against Minnesota.
That has me. Yeah, I think I'm starting Sutton. Just like the matchup, and I mean, Sutton's hot right now. Russell Wilson's playing better. Broncos are playing better. I'm leaning Cortland Sutton.
That's what I was thinking too. I just wanted to, I wanted you to confirm that I wasn't insane. Lane's side of the ball, JT's on bye. His only running back on his team that he can throw in there is Najee in Cleveland. That's tough. Maybe Lane's going to be hitting the trade block before this week starts.
He hasn't been doing bad, though. 14, 10, 15, 18.
Najee, you're right. Lately, he's been very solid. But the Cleveland defense, man.
Yeah.
They're scary. This game is going to be like 6-9. Nice. No joke though. Like with DTR quarterback for Cleveland, they're like not going to score any touchdowns, and the Pittsburgh offense is bad enough. It doesn't need to go up against a top 5 defense. For any of you gamblers out there, the under on that, the under on that might be like 25. So. Oh, jeez. Yeah, Lane's team. I mean, Amon-Ra's good. Debo should be fine, right? Yeah, Debo's been okay this year. Pollard's been really disappointing, but he plays Carolina, so you could probably start him with confidence. Mark Andrews is going to blow up Cincinnati. You starting? You probably If Nico Collins plays, you start him just because he's been so good. I assume.
Yeah, I mean he's probably tempted to start Brandon Cooks after last week.
I wouldn't chase the points.
And they're playing Carolina, so they might not have to pass at all. So
that's a good point. I'd consider Tyler Boyd.
Back.
I'd consider Boyd if Higgins doesn't play. So I don't know. That's kind of all I got. Oh, he has. I forgot. Lane has T-Law now. You gonna start T-Law over Herbert? He had -3 last week.
I don't think so.
Oh, jeez. This is a Lemons win for me.
Yeah, I think so as well.
George, I agree.
Yeah. Dalton Kincaid's been pretty good lately. 4 weeks in a row, 15 plus. No wonder Stephon Diggs has been struggling. Oh, jeez. All right, that does it for all the matchups. So there's only one segment left.
Boom, roasted.
Let's get into it, huh? So George, I don't know if you ever stick around this long for the rewind. This is the point in the show where I roast everybody.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna go down the list here. Yeah, that just confirmed to me that George does not stick around this long. Oh, that's funny. All right, Nick B's first. Nick, your roster is like the pictures that people put on their Tinder profiles before they gain a bunch of weight, and your record is what they actually look like.
Boom, roasted.
Brandon, I saw your messages in the group chat. Nobody wants Devonta Smith. He's busted more times this year than George has in Letzi.
Damn, that was cold, bro.
I'll suck these nuts.
Violation.
And you know it's true, George.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Oh, Greg, I see that Chase and Hawk are both in your lineup this week. You sure that's the right play? Because I heard that Hawk sneezed during practice today, so you might want to sit him on the bench. Oh, I can't believe you did that.
Unlimited.
Manthai. Yeah, I'm just happy to see you fighting for the playoffs all of a sudden, man. Maybe you finally took our advice and handed the team over to Julia.
Boom, roasted.
Jake, Dak is going to throw all of his touchdowns to CeeDee Lamb, and Julia is going to show you what a full Chubb really looks like.
Boom, roasted.
Feels like it might be a double Manthai roast there, not going to lie. Let's see. George, you're up, buddy.
Oh boy.
Jack Me Goff competes with dumb names from the middle school years like Trent's Let's See Some TDs and Tanner Beckman's Ben Cocklisberger. Nobody wants to see that next to Hasbula. Dude, you gotta change the pick.
Boom, roasted.
It's a fire pick, bro.
It is a fire pick, but I don't want to see that next to Jack Me Goff. Cade, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think that George is asking you to jack him Goff. I know you're excited about that. Maybe next time, bud.
Boom, roasted.
Lemons. It's good to see you finally found a roster that's more your level to compete with. You know, maybe that'll help you snap your 2-game losing streak.
Boom, roasted.
Last but not least, Laner. As decent as Najee has been the past few weeks, I'm afraid that you're going to have to start him versus Cleveland. Expect a performance about as mid as your team name.
Boom, roasted.
Thank thanks. Hey, not everybody is that easy to roast when you're doing it every week.
Bro, you started off hot.
I know there were some good ones at the beginning. Oh,
jeez. Started
jeez.
off really hot, and then they got mid towards the end.
I'm glad you approve of the hotness at the start, because usually they're all mid. All right. That does it for the show, everybody. George, thanks again for swinging by. Hey, if anybody has a chance to reach out to Greg this weekend, obviously he's getting married on Saturday, so wish him well. Apologize for his loss and all that. We'll see everybody there that's going to be there and have a great time. Shout out Greg. Also, good luck to everybody that is not Nick B, Manthai, and Cade this week. So, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.